Are you or anyone you know a cinnamon roll junkie? Well, one of my daughters is, and she asked me to make these for her birthday. And based on her feedback, I think you might like them too.
I like it better than cinnamon.
Do you really mean that?
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
I found this recipe on TikTok by Matt Taylor, who I'll tag in the caption along with the ingredients. But for your instructions, we're gonna start off by proofing your yeast in water, milk, sugar, and yeast. Whisk everything together, then set it aside while you combine your flour and salt in a separate bowl. Once your yeast mix is foamy, go ahead and add your melted butter and sugar and whisk it. Then add 1 egg, whisk it again, and start working in half of your flour. Mix everything together until you have a nice batter, and then add the remaining flour. Mix everything until it starts to become more cohesive, and then start working everything together by hand. Once you have a rough ball formed, transfer your dough to a clean surface and start kneading for 8 to 10 minutes. Once done, put your dough ball in a clean bowl, cover it, and let it rest for 1 hour. While the dough is resting, you can start working on your filling. For this, you're gonna use brown sugar, cinnamon, and vanilla. Mix it until it's well combined and all of the clumps are removed. When your dough is done resting, flour a clean surface to place your dough on so you can start rolling it out. Now, unfortunately, I completely forgot to hit record when I started rolling the dough out, but you're aiming to roll this out to be 1/4 inch thick and as rectangular as possible. So based on mine looking more like an egg, maybe it's okay that I didn't record me rolling it out from the beginning. But once you're happy with your shape and thickness, lather on a layer of softened butter. And I tried to be all proper by doing it with a spatula, but it was way easier to just do by hand. When you're done smearing the butter around, go ahead and start sprinkling on all of your filling. Now we get to start the most satisfying part of the whole project. It's also really easy. All you have to do is just start rolling your dough long ways into a log. And since I didn't have a more rectangular shape to work with, I cut off the end so I could have a more symmetrical shape to work with for the individual rolls. Then I used the ruler on my bench scraper to make 1-inch marks using sewing string, which set me up for my favorite part of the whole job. To cut your individual rolls, just run the sewing string underneath the cinnamon roll, wrap it around the top, and pull through. Then just repeat the process for the rest of the log. Once all your rolls are cut, grease or oil a baking dish and get your rolls in. Once they're in, get your baking dish covered and let them rest for another hour while they double in size. Once they're done resting, brush the top with melted butter, then put them in a 375-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes or until golden brown. While they're baking, we're going to make a really simple icing using powdered sugar, melted butter, milk, and vanilla extract. Remove them from the oven once they have that beautiful color, and try to let them rest as long as you can stand before putting the icing on. The longer you let the cinnamon rolls cool, the thicker the icing will form on top. And I should have let mine rest longer, but the birthday girl had already waited 2.5 hours and didn't care all that much what the icing looked like. And while there were a lot of steps involved in this one, it was well worth the effort because we all agreed that these were the best cinnamon rolls we've ever had.